Welcome to the Life First Accounting Firm podcast for accountants who love their work but love their lives outside of work even more. I'm your host, Erica Goody, the 15-hour accountant. I built my own mostly solo accounting firm because I wanted balance, health, and more time with my family. In season 1 of this podcast, we're sharing real starting stories from other accountants who chose to do the same, launch their own firms in a quest for more life and freedom. So pull up a chair, settle in, and listen in to the do's, the don'ts, and the would you do it agains. Welcome to Starting Stories. Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Erica Goody, and today I'm joined with Katie Rao. Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was so excited when we got to meet a little bit ago and just to hear a little bit of your story. And I thought maybe there was somebody out there who could get inspired by your story just based on what you were saying. Without further ado, can you tell us who you are, where you're at in the world, and a little bit about yourself before we dive into all things accounting?
Yes. So, Katie Rao, I live in Southern Illinois. I am a mom of 3 and a wife of going to be 20 years this year. So, yeah, it's a big year
Congratulations.
because we both turned 40 and we hit 20 years. So, this year, 2026, is something I've been thinking about for a while.
Are you doing something fun to celebrate?
Yeah, we're going to St. Lucia. So I always said Fiji. I'm like, if we make it, we're going to Fiji. But after looking at Fiji, which, is going to run me about 18,000, I was like, what
Woo!
if we get a hot tub and we go somewhere? So that's what we did. And we have a hot tub. And so, yeah, it's been great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're going to tell us a little bit about this accounting practice that you've built up. Tell me about your business, like what service offerings you have, if it's just you, if you have employees or contractors. Give me the high-level rundown of what you do and who you do it for.
All right. So I started in the beginning of 2024, like taking on my own clients and opening up my own business because I've done bookkeeping for over 12 years now. So I'm still a W-2 employee for 2 days a week now. I'll get through all of how that dwindled down. But I started taking clients. My first client I got August of 2024. And then I ended the year of 2024 with 6 monthly clients. And then,
Okay, so for reference, in case somebody's listening to this later, we're recording this at the beginning of 2026. So you've been on your own with your own practice for about a year and a half now. Is that right?
yeah. And so that first year, I really didn't get going until August. And so it took me about 2 months to learn Upwork and what jobs were worth, putting in for. And then I landed my first one in July. And then I started with them in August. And then I took that whole month of, not logging in and just learning their books. And then I got, I believe, my next one in October. And then I got a few more in December to end the year with 6.
Okay. And is it
And
all
at that
just
time, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was still working 40 hours a week at the W-2 job. And
okay? Is
so,
that W-2 job a bookkeeping, like accounting role?
yeah, they call it like bookkeeping controller slash we're a small business and I do all the things. Like I help with construction coordinating. I go on site and create work orders. I'm chasing, contractors for their W-9s. It's just all the hats. And this will be my 10th year with them.
Wow. Okay, so in 2024, were you full-time in that role?
And I didn't negotiate to go down until I believe it was December. So when I hit like those 6 clients, I'm like, okay. So I went to them and brought up the idea of, hey, so like I understand that, the market hasn't been that great and we really haven't been able to give me a raise in a whole lot of years. So how about I keep my pay the same, but I'm going to be off on Fridays. And they're super kind and they went for it. And so I eventually, though, as of, I believe it was December of 2025, I am working just the 2 days for them. And I work for my business Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So why, if we can go back in time a little bit, why jump from the W-2? Like you had a full-time job, you were doing work that you knew how to do, albeit it sounds like wearing many hats. Like why not stay? Like what was the impetus for like I want to go do something on my own?
not having any control of my salary, not having control of decisions in a business that I'd be like, I probably wouldn't make that. Like, so just kind of seeing maybe some of the things that I would do differently if I got to run the ship. And so I knew I would never go be another U2 employee anywhere. I always knew, like, I feel like I could be a really good business owner. I wasn't ever intending on, like hiring or whatnot. But I'm like, I feel like I've had enough of watching what to do and what not to do that maybe I should give this a go. And so I was just so ready to take control of my time and my pay and all the things.
That feel like when you made the jump? Well, I guess you didn't make the jump. Like you slow, it sounds like slowly and intentionally
Yeah, and that's
backed
what made it
away.
not scary because my pay didn't go down. So it really was like, what's there, to lose? I can just, slowly build and then, reevaluate with them.
Did you tell your employer that that's why you were taking time off? You were going to go build something on your own? What did
And
they
I
say to
think
that?
they were a little nervous that I'd probably completely be like, oh, I'm gone. But I've also, I mean, they know me at my core and they know how loyal I am. And typically I keep a job until literally they shut their doors, in which I've always said to them, like, once this place sells and you guys are on the beach, then I'll go do something else. Well, here we are, 10 years later, and it's like, oh, like I didn't intend to have my whole career here though, but I'm also, I'm super invested and I care about them. So it wasn't like I could just be like, peace out.
Interesting. Okay. So you get the 6 clients in the first 6-ish months,
Yep.
and you are super honest with the employer, which is great. I don't think everybody gets to be that honest, and it's
Yeah.
so wonderful that you do. Not that people are trying to be shady, but sometimes we just don't feel comfortable being as open as it sounds like you're able to do and keep the same salary. You're right. It felt like there was very minimal risk. So what happened in 2025, that next year? You got through the first 6 months, first 6 clients. Oh, I'm really interested in this because we talked about this earlier offline. You mentioned Upwork.
That's where I got my very first client. And well, really, I was looking at the numbers. Like, I think it was my first 8 clients all came from Upwork.
So
And so Mhm.
this is so interesting because what I hear from people like today as we're recording this, if I ask somebody about Upwork, they'd be like, Upwork is how I got started, but it doesn't work anymore. They changed their business model, yada, yada. Like it doesn't work anymore. Are you still using Upwork, or was it like that was a thing of the past?
Yeah, and I love it, and it's almost addicting, like, because I use it like the newspaper classified where I, like, hop on with my coffee in the morning, "Is there any good jobs?" And I feel like I'm definitely more seasoned to know now what I didn't know then of the jobs that I should waste my, proposals on because you have to buy connects, and it's a whole thing. But, so now I'm not gonna be applying for somebody that's looking for a $3 an hour bookkeeper. That's fine. You have what you're looking for there, and I'm not gonna, come in and try and, be like, "Oh, no, you want me," and I'm at a much higher rate. But so I have very specific job listings that I'm looking for. And so I would say I probably put in maybe 3 to 6 proposals a day, and out of those, maybe 1 gets viewed, and then maybe I get 1 to 2 interviews a week. And I feel like if I can get you on an interview and if we're a good match, then I can land you.
So, okay, so did it take you time to figure out? Like, it sounds like you get it. You have a rhythm and a methodology for and I don't even know how Upwork works. So I have like a ton of questions, but did it take you a while to figure out for yourself?
I mean, really not too long. I would say I first got on the platform in June, got my first interview in July, then started with them in August. And then I really didn't try and pursue another client because I knew I was trying to get one at a time, one a month. And then now I'm to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm at the capacity where I can onboard probably 2 to 4 clients, a month. So I'm on there a little more like last January. So, I told you I ended the year at like 6 in 2024. Well, I got 7 clients from Well, I would say 6 of them were from Upwork, 1 was a referral. So, like, I mean, there are the times where you gotta strike when the iron's hot. So, like, obviously, January, everybody's like, "I gotta get my life together and I gotta get my finances together." So, there's a million people, out there looking for accountants. So, yeah, I definitely go in whenever I know that, like quarterlies are due or the extensions, in August and all these things, that there's going to be waves of people looking then.
Okay. And so how does Upwork work? Like I've only ever hired somebody on Upwork. I've never looked for work
Hmm.
on Upwork. You said you have to buy connections. Can you like explain
Yep.
how this works?
Yeah. So you will get on there, and just like in your LinkedIn, you kind of have your profile. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to write your little about me section and all that good stuff. And at that time, you don't really have obviously any reviews from Upwork or anything. So in the beginning, it is a little harder to maybe get hired because they're going to look at you and be like, oh, she hasn't ever been hired before. But in my proposals, I have my website too. So I feel like they can at least go over there and see that I'm a real person. They'll see a picture of my family, and all that good stuff. So you create your profile and then you can subscribe. I don't know that I did this initially for the first few months, but you can just buy connects. And then every job listing that you see either cost 8 connects or it costs 20 connects. I don't know. I'm guessing it's whoever's doing the listing, they get to decide how much they want to pay and how much, they want to charge for the job post that you put in. And so then you can edit if it is hourly. You can put in there, okay, I see your job listing here. I'm going to put in my proposal. So I have a proposal that's saved on my desktop that I can just copy and paste from. So I'll edit it so they know that I read, their job posting if it's, construction or whatever, and put that in there. And then I'll post that cover letter in there, and then I'll put hourly. So they may have a range of 20 to 60. So I may say 45. But in my proposal it says, "Hey, I don't work hourly. I work with a monthly retainer. So mine start at this rate. Here's my website." And all that good stuff. And so if they view it, which Upwork will notify you if they view it, they will then message you for an interview if they're interested in hiring you.
So everybody's looking, maybe not everybody, but like they're looking for hourly and you're like, cute, I'll apply for this. I don't do hourly.
Nope. Yeah. And
I
once they
love
read in there,
that.
they'll see that. And whether that's for them or not, like they can choose to, message me or be like, yeah, I ain't doing that. So that's up to them.
Okay. And how much does a connect, like how much are you spending on a monthly basis for like playing the game on
Yeah.
Upwork?
So the subscription, I think that I pay for is $19.99, and that gets me 100 connects. Most months, if I'm not really gung ho, that'll get me because some are 8, to apply, some are 10. So that's fine. But when I was first getting started, you could spend $75, you could spend $100. I've never spent over $100 a month, but I also don't advertise in any other way, shape, or form. So I just view it as I'm advertising and putting myself out there.
And what type of like, how big are the clients you're getting off of Upwork? Like, what's your average monthly retainer for an average client you're getting off Upwork?
So right now, based off that's what I did the math. I ended this January with 23, and my average is 500. And so like I'm looking though for on Upwork, I'm not, and it'll say in there, is this business 10 employees and up, or is it a smaller one? I'm looking for somebody who is smaller, who doesn't want a 40-hour a week, bookkeeper. So I'm looking at all the things that it says in their profile of if I even want to, because if you're huge, if you want payroll, I'm not your girl. If you want sales tax, I'm not your girl. If you want inventory, like I already have niched down to, this is exactly who I'm looking for. And usually in their job posting, I can figure that out. And if not, then in the interview.
I love that you have a boundary around a scope and
I
a
love
niche of like
boundaries.
what you're going to do. Do you have an industry niche too?
Nope.
No. Okay. Just like I will do this work, but not this work. I love that.
And you have to be in QuickBooks Online, or I got to bring you over to that. I'm only learning that. Yep.
Love that. Okay. So I did quick math. Are you gonna like, can we talk about
You
money?
can
We're
talk
on an
about it
accounting.
because that's how I found you and I fell in love with you, is your ebook. Cause I was like, at the time I was only working the 15 hours, I would have been Thursdays and Fridays. And so I was like, oh, I'm kind of working. Obviously, I'm still doing my W-2 over here where I've got those other hours, but like I was building my business in those 2 days a week. So I found you and I was like, "Oh, I love that she puts her numbers out there because I want to know all that." And so,
Yeah, it's so
yeah, you can
helpful.
ask me whatever.
So, I mean, like, I just did the quick math. 23 clients, $500 a month. You're going to clear like low six figure, like 100 to
I
150 this.
cleared this year working 2 days a week. Well, it didn't clear. Okay, so my gross, I was at 106 for my first year of working Thursdays and Fridays.
106 on 2 days a week. Are these like 20-hour days, 2 days a week? Are you working like 8 hours? Like, how many hours a week are you dedicating to
So
this?
really, I mean, I come in my office at 5 in the morning. I do my devotionals back there, and then I'm on by about 5:30, 5:45. And then for the most part, I mean, I'll go in, throw a load of laundry on, and possibly have to get a kid, depending upon if they're staying after school for practice. But like I may be in here from 5 to 4, 5 to 5. It just really depends. So it could be 8 hours, it could be 12 hours. It depends on if I took a cleanup. But if like once I get them in their, rhythm of, hey, I've got it all cleaned up. The chart of accounts looks good. I've got, where they're used to, responding to me because every client gets a day of the week and they know that they're going to hear from me on that day of the week. And so I have like 12 clients I'm looking at. I've got my little list here of, 12 clients on Friday. And really, if there's nothing crazy going on and it's not month end, like I could get through that for sure in 8 hours. So,
Okay, so I love this. I've never heard, like, I've heard of this theoretically, but I've never talked to anybody who like does like days of the week for specific clients. So do they know that they're getting assigned a day when
yeah,
they sign up with you?
yep. And it's okay if they want to email me on a Monday. I will always respond in 24 hours. That doesn't mean I'm going to do what you're asking me to do. Like for them, I mean, for the most part, I will try, but you're going to get your message is I'm going to reply. It's going to go to unread and you're going to go in your folder. And guess what? I'm going to come to you on your day of the week and then I'll handle whatever it is you need me to do.
Do you ever get pushback from clients and treating it that way? Amazing. Well, because you
No,
tell them up
because I
front,
talk
right?
about my system right out the gate in the interview. So I set the tone. And I feel like, I mean, I kind of take the same approach as what I did when I was raising toddlers. Like I set the tone of how I expect you to act. And like, of course, I'm going to do it with love and like kindness. I'm not trying to be like, this is, only my way or whatever. But for the most part, I'm a business owner. I'm not your employee. So this is how we're going to do it. And like, I'm going to try and do whatever you need, but like, it's going to stay in these boundaries that I've set. Otherwise, I'll go crazy and I wouldn't be able to manage this many.
Okay, I love that you have a system. Shocking. I love that somebody has a system, right? Well, like I love it. You don't have to use my system. I just love when somebody has a system. Okay, so you're 2 days a week, maybe 10 to 12 hours on those 2 days each,
Yep.
easily six figures. Do
Yep.
you plan to grow, keep the
Yes.
W, stay the same? Like, what's the next path? Like, is there a
So,
next path?
yeah. So, like, I am extremely driven and extremely competitive. And I'm not necessarily like competitive with other people. I'm competitive with myself. So, like, I already know exactly. And I have, I mean, my binder here and what it is going to look like this year and how many clients I want to end with, the monthly reoccurring revenue I want, all the things. I've already got it spelled out.
And will you grow only on like, is Upwork your thing? Like, do you have any other marketing, any other initiatives that you'll push outside of Upwork from getting new
So,
clients?
referrals. So I put the numbers here together. Have, let's see, from Upwork, what is it? I had 16 from Upwork, and then a few of them are locals or referrals from Upwork clients. And so I don't keep you on Upwork like forever. Like it's just get to know each other phase. And then, within a few months, if things are going well and I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to be together forever, then I'm going to probably initiate, or 9 times out of 10, they're initiating it because they're paying that monthly rate as well. So Upwork takes 10% of, so if I charge 450, they're getting 10% of that. But I also do that in my proposal. I know that, I'm going to keep them on Upwork for a little bit and then, we'll go off. So I'll just account for that fee in my proposal.
Wow, you have been so generous with so much tactical information. I appreciate it. On a general, like high level view, what's been the best part of starting your firm?
proving that I could do what I set out to do. Like, I just thought, oh, there's probably a six-figure business owner somewhere down in there. And then, like, going out and actually putting the systems and it actually working. That's why, like, 2025 is like a proof of concept for me. Like, okay, if I do these systems, if I stack these clients, if I do this, like all the things, like, will they feel good? Will I feel good? Will I be stressed or any of this? Like, and after I got to the end of the year, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I love this. Like, and I am so excited for what 2026 is going to look like.
That's awesome. What's been the hardest part of owning a firm and being an entrepreneur of six-figure business?
I mean, really, like, keeping myself from coming out here and like wanting to work even more, trying to find a boundary, which again is how I found you. And like, because I stayed at home, the first 20, well, all of my 20s, I was a stay at home mom. And so, like, such the best season. Like, I mean, I love the season that I'm at now, but getting to be home with them was, just amazing. So hard finding the balance of now that I am working and it's not all on them and like I just want to scale this, but then also it's like, okay, but you only have so many more years. Like, so my kids, I have an eighth grader, and then I have a sophomore, and I have a freshman in college. So I now know what that feels like to have one gone. And so it's the hardest part is the time management and not just wanting to run as fast as I can, but kind of being like, hey, you only got so many more years. And then again, I have the timer of my husband retires in 5 years and 8 months. I have a timer over here. And so I'm going to scale back to that 15 hours a week too. Again, a reason why I found you is like, okay, but can I still make six figures? And after I proved it to myself, then it was like, okay, what's this going to look like when he retires and we're traveling the world?
And and he retires and we travel. We already have plans to travel the world.
Yes, I can like taste it. I told my husband, I'm such a good, like, just putting a vision and like, I'm already setting in what it's going to be like when we're in Europe and all these things. And I think that's what helped me get to where I am in my business too, is because I already felt that I was that person even before. And just like in the next season, I'm like, I already know that feeling. I already, can taste it. And I'm so excited about it. And so
So you don't have plans like this is not temporary. When he retires, you're gonna sell it, spin it off, do whatever.
I'm
Like
gonna
this
work
is
till I'm like 85, like for real. I love what I do. And I love, like, I get to pick who
amazing.
I work with. So, like, how could it be any better?
Okay, I love this because it's really hard to find people who say this because when somebody says, I'm going to work till I'm 85, they're like, you're crazy. Something's wrong with you. Because I think there's so many people who are in jobs that they despise and that are just burning them out. And actually, maybe the work they don't despise, but it's hard to uncouple the like, I feel burnout because of a job and how I've been treated and how I've been at overcapacity. And there's a lot of people who think, I hate accounting. I need to get out of accounting. And then they take a step, they start their own thing, and they realize, I love accounting. I hated my last job, or I hated where I was working or how I was working. And so it's so wonderful when people can get to a place where they're like, why would I want to retire? This makes me happy. I like what I'm doing. Isn't that the dream? We all say like retiring early is the dream. Like, what if just being happy before you retired was the dream too?
Yeah. And I get the best of both worlds. I get to build a business and choose who I work with and choose the hours and choose the revenue and all that good stuff. And I get to go travel and I can have my laptop open out on the beach or in the mountains or whatever. And so, he has, sacrificed. And I always tell him, like, you took care of everything for those, beginning years. Like, I'm going to take care of you for a long time. So it's going to pay off. Like, your investment in me was worth it.
Does he get it? What does he think? Like, what's his perspective of it?
He calls me a sugar mama. Like, he's all about it.
Good,
He's all
good,
about it. Yep. And so
good.
he's super supportive.
What about the kids? The kids are like, mom's holed up in her office. Do they think this is cool? Do they feel forgotten? I'm sure that's a fear of some people.
Yeah. Like, I would probably say, especially in 2025, they'd be like, yeah, mom probably has a lot going on because I was coaching. So, like, I've coached my daughter's sports.
Mhm.
since Pee-wee. So, like, it's just been a lot. But now that she's going off to high school, I have hung up my coaching hat. So, like, now I feel like I've gotten some of that time, which now has allowed me sometimes to work till 5. But for the most part, um, I feel like I don't miss ball games. I don't miss practice pickups. Like, I don't miss things. Like, I don't really, when you had the questionnaire about hobbies, I mean, it's really just kids' activities and now getting in the hot tub, like that's our date night, and working. So those are the only things I have going on right now, and I'm okay with that.
You seem happy. You don't seem disgruntled. You don't seem stressed. I don't think you've stopped smiling since we've
No,
started.
I know.
So that's great. Do you ever envision hiring in your firm?
So if you would have asked me this last year, no. Like, and it's not like I work well with others. Like I think I would be, like a good boss, but I loved the solo firm idea. All in on that. I only said if my daughter, who wants to get a van and travel the whole country, and so she wants remote work. So I said after she would get, either some accounting classes, if she ever wanted to come on board, I would obviously entertain my daughter or my daughter-in-laws, because I truly think that this is the best, like, stay-at-home mom, like, job ever. I mean, I really think it's the best job ever, because you can go, like, no, I'll be making 300,000 and I could be just, sitting here working in my nice little office and make that kind of money. Like, it's insane. And you don't have to have a degree. It is nice to have obviously some accounting classes and business classes, but really, like, where else can you go and do that? So I would love to offer to my daughter-in-law someday if they wanted to do some admin. But other than that, the intention was, never to hire anybody. But I sweetly pushed my sister-in-law, who also has an accounting degree. I'm like, you need to do this. Like, you need to open up your own. Like, I've done it. I will show you all my systems. And so she did it for a little bit, and she learned that she said, I am a great number two. I don't want to be the number one. And so I kind of thought, well, what if I scaled it to a point where I could bring her on board, because I know we work well together. She's like my favorite person. We've been, sister-in-laws for 20 years. Like, I know I would work well with her. Possibly in 2026, I may entertain that, but I have to reach certain, levels before I would be able to do that.
That's such a good call out. You know, I think there's a lot of people talking about how great firm ownership is. And there's a lot of people who think that it's still not for everybody. You can be an amazing accountant and not want to run your own firm because that's its own beast. Like, you have to figure stuff out. You have to be okay with getting clients and losing clients, worrying about more than just yourself when you don't have a boss above you. And that's a great reminder that, like, yes, we have these podcasts and there's people on social media talking about how great this is. It is still not for everybody. You still have to, like, know thyself, and how great of your sister-in-law to be like, this is great. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I love accounting, not like this.
And she legit is my biggest cheerleader too. Like, she has been just cheering me on this whole time. So, like, it would literally be the best dream ever if we got to do this and really take on, conquer the world. Like, so yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see what this year brings. Like, it's been an amazing ride, and I already, like I said, I can envision what this is going to be until I'm 85, and I'm just so excited about it.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. If
Thank you.
somebody's listening right now or watching, what advice would you give for somebody who is thinking about starting something on their own, whether it be bookkeeping or tax or CAS or whatever it may be?
I mean, I always say, I wish I would have just jumped into it sooner, but, like, get yourself, a network. So, like, find some like-minded people. And then, whether it's an accounting class, or there's great bookkeeping courses too, like, just, and you can get the QuickBooks Online Accountant, free version, and just get in there and play with it and just, see if this is something that you think that you would want to. But, like, I feel like this is, like, for everybody. Like, I just, yeah, think this is the best job.
And let me follow up with that because you mentioned the QuickBooks accountant
Yeah.
certification. So and QuickBooks is not sponsoring this. We both are QuickBooks users. So if somebody doesn't know, you can get a QuickBooks Online accountant account, which is different than QuickBooks Online. Like you would sign up as an accountant where you could get clients, and you can get that accountant account for
Yeah.
free. And so
Yeah.
you'd sign up for that. And then once you're in there, you get a whole bunch of access to free training, like
Yes.
all of the free training, which you can for sure pay for if you don't have that account. But if you have that account and you're thinking about starting this, you get it all for free.
Yeah.
And I think that I think it's an amazing, people have lots of things to say about QuickBooks and Intuit. I think it's a great way to get certified. They have a bookkeeping certification in there. They have payroll. They have a whole bunch of free learning in there that I think is just a wealth of free resources.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can even connect your own like cards and stuff and bank account and be able to just start practicing. Like I feel like, yeah, there's no harm, especially with it just being free and yeah, giving it a whirl to see, is this something that I even like doing?
Yes, the barriers to entry to just try it out are so low.
That's
And
why I said this is one, I think the best business ever, but the overhead, like my overhead is ridiculously low. My QuickBooks Online accountant is free. And I mean, I'm paying for internet. I would have been doing that anyway. But like, I don't need a million subscriptions. I have a website. I think that costs me $22 a month. I use Loom, like, to be able to send, some talk throughs of financials and whatnot like that. But really, you could get away with this for like $200 a month, or I mean, sometimes I was even leaner in the beginning too.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Katie, so much for being here, for being so transparent. We appreciate it because it really does help people when we share our stories and we're candid about it. Other people get to know if this could be for them or not, or do's and don'ts. And I just appreciate you being here and being so open. If you said something that really hit somebody and they want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
So I am on LinkedIn. I don't do very much. I'm learning that. And I am on Facebook a tiny bit, but I'm in my emails all day, every day. So if anybody ever wanted to email me, I mean, you're going to get me there within 24 hours.
I love that. We will put links to all that in the show notes so that if somebody does want to reach out to you or just connect with you, they can. But Katie, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you so much. And thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Hey, it's Erica again. Thanks for joining us today. If you want more stuff like this, subscribe to the 15-Hour Accountant newsletter. You can find the link to subscribe in the show notes. Special thanks to everyone who helped bring this podcast to life. This podcast is produced and edited by the 15-Hour Accountant. All design work is by Lou Valdivieso. The music you're hearing right now in the background is called Destination Freedom by Avocado Junkie. Until next time, work well, live well.